I remember living in Kirkland, and I was a married mother, and we were staying with my mom for just a little bit, and it was snowing, and they had this big, huge hill out on the side, and they sat there and let us use, and I don't remember if we used cardboard or what, but we were using some weird things to go slide down that hill. And I was an old lady, so I kind of hurt myself. I remember my dad's sister, Aunt Alice, beautiful house on Mercer Island. Wooden floors. Every time, I'm not supposed to look at you or this. every every time we go to see Aunt Alice, she was an editor for the PI. So was her husband. We'd go over to their house, these beautiful floors, and we can't wear shoes in there. I had to wear just socks. So my mom would have to go and buy socks every time we go visit Aunt Alice on Mercer Island. So each one of us 6 little girls would have cute little matching clean socks, so we could go and skate on her floors and stuff. Something else. Oh, I remember, this is mostly about Mom, but she used to sit there and do all sorts of cooking, and she would take recipes and try them out. So we would have, for family home evening, we would have like Hawaiian night where we did a luau and we sat on mats on the floor, and she made I don't remember if she made poi or if we just talked about how it was not a very good tasting thing anyway, but she had all these wonderful real Hawaiian dishes. And I remember the very first time that I had pineapple upside down cake, and I thought she did it wrong. And I was so embarrassed for her because she put the pineapple in first, and I'm thinking, So she's pineapple, and then she's putting in the cake mix, and then she cooks it, and I'm sitting there going, And then she turns it upside down, and voila! Pineapple upside down cake. It was so cool. She's always done things like that. Oh, and she used to sit there and make these beautiful dresses, and we had matching dresses, and we even have pictures of proof. Little pink gingham, or was it blue? Gingham dresses, and all 6 of us little girls are sitting there showing off our ruffle panties and stuff with underneath these dresses that she homemade.
Memories with my parents. Always camping. Camping was my most favorite memories with my parents. We went camping in Toonerville, which is between Seebeck and Tahuya, and we camped next to a creek, and my little brother Randy at the time was only like 1.5 years old, and we put him in the water to wash off his body after a diaper change, and he started drifting down the river creek. So yeah, that was my most favorite camping moment with my family.
My parents, my favorite memory would have to be on a Thanksgiving when my dad came down the stairs in the Ozzy Osbourne outfit yelling Sharon from my mom, and it was in front of everybody. It was pretty awesome.
It'd have to be when Eric took us to Bremerton, because that's one of the few nice things he's ever done to us. He took us to Bremerton, and he took us on a tour of the museums and everything, and we got to go through the museums and go on the ship that's docked there.
Mine are probably from when I was little, just spending holidays and Easter, and they literally go out and just throw bags of candy across the yard because there were so many of us looking for everything. And one year I found all the suckers, and they made me bring them back, and I said I could only have one, and I took like 5. I liked coming here and doing all the gingerbread houses and the ornament exchange.
My 3 older brothers and I, we would all go to church together, and I think that was one of my favorite memories.
When my mom let me stay up all night to wait for Santa, I ended up falling asleep, but my mom put one of my unwrapped toys in my lap. It was really sweet.
Probably the year that we started doing our Polar Express tradition. We watch it every Christmas Eve. Can't think of what year that is, but yeah.
My favorite memory I only have one really good memory, and it was with my mom. Actually with my dad. He took me down to Seahurst Park, I think in Seattle, and that was probably my best memory. Because it was really fun, because we found like all these shells.
My mom used to every Monday night decide to cook dinner from a different country and do certain activities from another country, like Hawaii. We learned how to do the hula. And they were all great except for one. I won't talk about that one. She knows which one I'm talking about. Anyway, that's something that a lot of people don't do. You know, you bring your family together and you do something to explore the cultures and other ideas, and it made me a little more open to people around me than maybe I would have been in.
When we were young, we didn't have a lot of money, so they went out of their way to find awesome presents for us, and we didn't think we were going to get anything. So Christmas morning, we had all these presents come in, and we were so excited. That was my favorite.
With my parents, my dad was a little crazy. He had passed away, but his birthday was yesterday. But he cut the top off of a car, made it into a convertible, cut the whole top off, right? And he would sneak us into the woods down into the beach by Lake Simonton in Bremerton. But what we used to do is we'd get in the car and we'd bungee cord ourselves in. We'd be sitting on the back of the car and we'd bungee cord ourselves in, and we'd get to the gate and we'd all have to get out, and he'd drop the seat back all the way back and lay down and drive the car right underneath the security gate, and then we'd all go back around, hop in, and then strap ourselves in with bungee cords. And then we used to put like 10 or 12 kids in there, go down to the beach and go shooting and get oysters. So it was one of my favorite ones with my parents.
Family video game time. My dad and I used to play regular Nintendo when I was a kid, and it got pretty competitive at times. It was pretty funny.
Remember as a kid when the power would go out, and then we'd cook over the fireplace, and all the family would be together talking. Yeah, that was good.
She used to take us to school. We moved from where I was going to school, so we had to drive back to finish out the year. And she drove us all the way from Snohomish to Kirkland every morning. And Betsy went to school an hour ahead of me, so we had an hour to do nothing. And Mom and I would go down to 7-Eleven and get brownies and chocolate milk and sit at the park and just talk. And that was one of my favorite times with her, because we got to be just the two of us alone together and just talk about whatever. And that's, I think, probably when I found out how much fun she was. You know, it was just that time just hanging out at the park together. One of my other favorite times, though, is, well, there's two of them. Quick, I'll make them short. She knows them too. The alligator and the snake. I have a picture of my mom at Gatorland with an alligator in her lap and a snake around her neck. And the fact that she'd never touched either before in her life. And she just was like very cool with it. Big smile. She says, oh, it's got a nice soft tummy on it. You know, she was very cool with that. And I don't know, I've always admired that about her willingness to do something that might scare her, but go ahead and do it anyway just because it might be fun. And the other one was when we talked with the pirates at Famous Dave's Barbecue. They were sitting at the table next to us and started chatting us up, so we had this whole long conversation with pirates. And then we got a picture of her with the pirates while one of them was trying to pick the lock behind us. It was hilarious. It was bizarre and fun, but that's Mom. She's always been fun, you know. So.
When we were kids, we used to have Halloween parties, and all the kids in the neighborhood liked our parties because Grandma was cool. I should stop saying Grandma, because my mom was the coolest mom. And there was a game that we would play. Oh, I can't think of what it was called, but we would all be in the dark, and she would pass things around, and there was like, she would tell this story about someone being murdered or something, and it's like she would pass around liver, and there was this guy's liver, and peeled grapes were the eyes, and just all this really scary stuff. I have no idea what that was all about, but I remember that because all the other kids thought my mom was so cool.
Christmas time, we went and cut trees a lot, and especially my grandma was there for a lot of that. We would go to the tree farm up in Snohomish, I think it was, like around there, and we would cut trees and get hot cider and candy canes, and you know, we have lots of cute kid pictures of us wearing like big scarves and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Cooking with my mom, probably in the kitchen. She always used to bring us in when we were really little, and we had this little kitchen in Wyoming. She would line us all up in the counter by age, and she would cook. We would sit there. She would have us smell stuff, and every once in a while I'll see her do that with other little kids. We'll be in the kitchen. She'll be like, "Oh, smell this and smell that," and then brings back good memories.
Most favorite thing to do in my free time? Read. Once again, that comes from my mother. She was always reading us books when we were growing up. She was Secret Garden. We used to sit there and read. She would read The Secret Garden to us, and every night we would get a chapter. Sometimes we could squeeze 2. And I just love the kids in The Secret Garden, and it's now my favorite game, my favorite book, and I shared it with my kids too.
Be with my kids. Whenever I have a day off, I always text one of them, all of them, some of them, let's go hang out. And they almost always say yes.
Play football.
Build things or play video games right now?
My free time, I like to do many things. Ready? Boom. I like to create dances, sign to songs, sing, and watch old-time movies, like black and white movies.
Music. I play drums, so I can play some music.
I like to sing, and I do fan fiction writing.
Probably write. I go down to the lake and do my homework, and I play music.
I like to read, listen to music, and play sports.
What kind of sports do you play?
Right now I'm playing basketball, and I just quit soccer.
I'm a grandma now, so it's to be with my grandkids. I love my family. That's something that my mom taught me, is that you can have things, that's all well and good, but your family. So, I do think it's my grandkids.
Read. I love reading.
Play with my kids. So, cook and bake stuff with them and go bike riding, stuff like that.
In my free time? Well, I probably, my most favorite would be to ride my motorcycle.
Play guitar.
My free time? As if anybody didn't know that. Take pictures. So, I take pictures of anything and everything and just whatever catches my eye, so. Read, I guess. I don't really have a lot of free time, so I honestly don't know. I know, watch Doctor Who. How much of a nerd am I? Okay.
See a lot of movies. I cook a lot with my boyfriend. Go outside and play. Go for hikes and go walk around and just be out in the world. See what happens.
Well, I was the oldest of the 6 girls, and so I was kind of like there way too long. When I was a junior, I moved out. Not a junior, when I was in my senior year, I moved out because I didn't like the rules, and I got pregnant, and I was going to have a baby, and I didn't think that they should be able to boss me around. And then, so I went to babysit in somebody else's house, and then I didn't like that because the girl, her name was Angelica or Angela or something like this. Angel, my butt. She was a horrible kid. So I sat there, and I went back to my parents, and they graciously accepted me back. And a couple months later, I gave birth, and then a couple months after that, I had my wedding. My mom sat there and helped me get all dressed. She, my sister Loretta was supposed to get married first, and my mom had bought this white satin fabric for her to have this beautiful dress. And Loretta, she's here. She's very slender, always has been, right? Me, I've always been pudgy, I carry my pounds happily. And so I'm getting married all of a sudden because he's going back to the military and he only has a limited time. So we're getting married, and my mom makes me the dress out of this white satin, which is very thick stuff. And when a pudgy girl, you're sitting there going, whoa, it was horrible. But my mom did the best she could, and she made a really beautiful dress for me. And the end.
Because I was pregnant with Derek and it was time for me to be a grown-up.
When I turned 18 and I got to go to college. Why? Because I wanted freedom, and because my college wasn't at home.
Just recently, and because I got kicked out.
I had my own business. I had the barber shop, and moved in with my. Actually, it was after I had established a business and had a fiance, and ready to move out.
Because I met the man who I was going to be with, and moved out. Decided to start my own life.
I moved out
out of my parents' house because I got married right after high school, and we were lucky enough to find a place that we could afford together. So.
Well, I was 19, 20 and had a job and didn't want to live with my parents anymore, so I moved out. With my best friend, we lived together for a couple of years. So.
Well, my dad and I got into a bit of a tiff. Let's see, I had graduated high school and I went out all night with my friends and did some drinking at 18 years old, and he wasn't happy, and so after kind of a knockdown drag out, I ended up, I called a Navy recruiter and said I'd like to sign up, and we were kind of in the midst of making up, and he took me to work with him. He was probably planning on getting me into construction with him. And the Navy recruiter called up and said, "Hey, where can I meet you?" And so I told him where we were, and he came down and picked me up. And a couple hours later, I was signed up and ready to ship off. I went home for maybe a week or something. My dad was pretty upset and sad, and I think he felt pretty bad for the whole scenario. But in the end, it's been the best thing for me because now I live up here. I come from Missouri originally, and there's really nothing down there, but up here there's a lot of job opportunity, and I'm doing really well.
When I was 14, I moved out because family, family problems. Me and my dad weren't exactly getting along.
I got married.
The good thing about being an adult now?
I was 18 and stupid, and I got married, and that's why I moved out. So, not much more to tell on that story. But I don't regret it though, because I have two wonderful kids, and that might not have happened otherwise. So, why? Because I was an adult, and I was 17 and I got married. That's when I moved out.
I moved out when I was 16 because I wanted to go to college in Ellensburg, and my mom was moving to Montana. So I moved out to the dorm there. I was pretty young, but I started college pretty young anyway. And yeah, didn't go back after that, except for like a summer.
I moved out of my mom's house when I was 16, and we lived in Billings, Montana, and I was just kind of ready to be on my own. I moved out here, and I moved right down the street from where Grandma lived at the time, and I got an apartment with my older sister, and I was just ready. I just wanted to quit being a child and start being an adult, which didn't necessarily happen at the same time, but it was good times.
My mother, I was a ventriloquist, and my mother and maybe Dad, I don't know, they got me a ventriloquist dummy, Danny O'Day, and I learned how to pull a string and open his mouth and all this. My mom wrote plays for me to do in talent shows, and I was very, very shy, and I didn't want to be up on the stage, and I'm all red-faced and everything, so I just look at Danny, and I would do the talking for him. Hello, my name is Danny. See, I can still do it. Anyway, so she was very talented. She's always had a really creative energy about her, and she put it into writing some stuff for us.
My most favorite memory was Christmas memory when we reenacted the whole nativity scene, and I got to be the donkey, and Anita was riding me on my back, and I crawled in with her. Yeah, I don't know why I was so excited about being the donkey, but I was excited.
My friend and I got to skip school to go to the fair, and it was an all-day thing, and it was pretty awesome because we got to skip school and everybody else didn't.
For my birthday, I went up in the plane and did loop-de-loops and stuff.
I remember one Easter at one of the houses. I think it was Charlie's house. We had Easter there and all the Easter eggs. And yeah, and I remember doing Easter at Grandma's house when Lisa lived next door to her, and she had all the little candy molds, and we had to use like paintbrushes and make candy molds. In fact, I made my kids do it this year. We did it this year. It was really fun.
I had 3 older brothers, so I think when I finally got my first pair of new pants, I had hand-me-downs pretty much growing up. So yeah, first pair of new pants. That was a good memory, good times.
During Christmas time, my sister asked for a doll, a live doll, and she asked for it to be Caucasian because the Spanish one only spoke Spanish. So she thought that so my dad bought her an African American one, and he wrote a letter being Santa saying that it does not, it speaks English, it doesn't speak Kenyan or anything, sort of reassuring her.
Probably getting together with everybody at family reunion. We only have 4 years. So, yeah, we play flashlight tag and hide each other in trees and all that sort of stuff.
Having a snowball fight with my sister and my mom at a mall.
I don't know, it's got to be a favorite. I really wanted the Chatty Cathy doll, okay? Really wanted this doll. I talked about this doll forever. Pulled a string and it talked to you, and I didn't realize you pulled a string and I thought it just talked to you. It's going to be my best friend. Well, I got this Chatty Cathy doll for Christmas, and my parents were not well off. Okay, so this had to be a big thing for them. Unfortunately, about a week later, I saw The Outer Limits where they had the Chatty Cathy doll who goes, "Hello, my name is Chatty Cathy and I'm going to kill you." Well, I'm done with the Chatty Cathy doll after that. But it was a good memory when I first got her. It was just that after the fact thing.
Probably would be, we lived in Seebeck, and my older brother would run away to the store and try to ditch the rest of us, and I would follow him anyways, and I'd get hopelessly lost in the woods, and I'd have to scream his name, and he would come back and get me.
I think one of my favorite memories was we had a stump in the backyard, a big stump, and we dug out underneath it, probably like 3 or 4 feet underneath it, and we used to have it as a fort, so we used to go in there and play. Yeah.
Going fishing with my dad.
One of my favorite memories was I was walking home from school and I had to walk through the woods, and I remember an eagle. I looked up and I saw an eagle, and it came down the trail with its wings out and its feet down, and I was just like, "Wah!" It was like a pterodactyl, man. That thing was huge. And I hit on my belly and I felt like the wind, whoosh. And then I got up and I ran, man. I ran into the thick woods. I thought it was going to be hopping after me. It's pretty one of my favorite.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. One of my favorite memories from when I was little was when I went into my mom's bedroom. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm doing that. I think it's the lights are getting me. And she had a candy bar. And Mom never got to eat a whole candy bar. Not ever. She had 6 kids. And every time she had a candy bar, if we wanted a bite, we got one. That was just how it was. She had a candy bar, she always shared. So which meant if she had a candy bar, she got maybe that much of it. So I went into her room and I saw her with that candy bar and I said, "Oh, hey, Mom, you got candy. Can I have a bite?" Meaning, give me one. But I was taught to be polite, so I said, "Can I have a bite?" And she said, "No, it's mine, and I want it." And I just, oh my God, because I wasn't upset because I didn't get the candy. I was freaked out because, oh my God, my mom's a person. And she actually wants her own candy for herself. Oh my God, and I don't remember what I did after that. I think I just kind of walked out of the room in a daze, but that was the first time I realized that my mom was an actual person and not just mom, because so many people never learn that their mom's a person, and that was my moment. That was my big moment where I went, wow. So, one of my favorite memories was the year for Christmas that I got a dollhouse that I totally wasn't expecting, and I accidentally saw it before Christmas because we slept up in the room adjoining the attic, and I went to the attic one day and I saw the dollhouse, and it was the most awesome thing, and I thought, I must be the one who's getting the dollhouse because I wasn't the only one who was really young enough to get one. I was like 8 or something. But I was afraid that once I saw it, I wasn't actually going to get it because Santa Claus knew I'd already seen it. But I got it. It was totally awesome. That was one of my favorite memories. That, and also when we got a horse. I have no idea how we got a horse because we couldn't afford it, but that was also cool.
We had a big Thanksgiving one time at my house, and we just had, it was not the huge house, but we just had like 20 or 30 people over for Thanksgiving, and we had a trampoline at the time, and I remember even though it was freezing, this was in Ellensburg, even though it was like snow outside, everybody was jumping on the trampoline, and when you're a kid, that's like the best thing ever. It's like, we're jumping on the trampoline in the winter.
Going with Grandma to the Christmas tree farm. That was a really good one. And this was in the 80s. You guys don't remember this, but they used to let us ride around on tractors, and they stopped doing that because of liability. Too many kids got hurt. But back then, we got to ride on the tractors with the hay bales and go cut down our Christmas tree, and we do that with the cousins and the siblings. It was a lot of fun.
Going out and chopping down our own trees. Tromping through the woods and finding a tree and making sure it wasn't too big or too wet or too yucky.
A couple years ago, me and my kids, when money was a little tight, so we were trying to make the best of what we did have. We went to the dollar store and we got $10 mugs, and we put hot chocolate in them and a peppermint stick and little marshmallows, and then we used cellophane wrap and tied it with a beautiful bow so it looked really beautiful. And then my daughter printed off from the computer a poem, a really small, cutesy poem about, love and happiness and all that jazz. And we brought them around to all my most favorite friends, and we sang to them at their doorstep, and we gave them what we called snowman soup. Yeah, that was most excellent.
4th of July, when my dad and my uncle had a little bit too much, and we were shooting bottle rockets at each other, and one went up my pant leg, and one went up their pant leg and exploded.
I have a couple of favorite memories, but I think that my most favorite memory will be this Christmas.
Probably for me, it was the year we did that ornament exchange, because we did it like a white elephant game, and I think I won the ballerina for Jordan, and one of the other kids wasn't happy about it. I just thought that was funny. I think that's probably my favorite too.
Memories of the Christmas season. I like family time together. The movies that come out around the holidays are great. Love movies.
I woke up and I unwrapped one of my sister's presents accidentally because I woke up before everyone else. And then I ran to my sister and I gave it to her and said, Santa came, he gave this to you.
Probably the year I started collecting snow globes. I got 10 of them in a year. So now I have a full desk full of just snow globes. And they all sing.
Well, lately, now I have the grandkids each spend a night over at my house, and we do crafts to make gifts for their cousins. And then they come over and we do a whole bunch of cookies and are you hurting that? A whole bunch of cookies to take to my work and to my daughter's work and things like that. And that's the whole thing, is just being with my kids, my grandkids. That's Christmas to me. If I didn't have them, I think I'd put up a tree.
Watching A Christmas Story with my dad, and then him getting that lamp, the leg lamp, and we would put it out every Christmas.
When I was little, we were poor, so we used to not get very many Christmas presents. Some years we'd get a lot, but one year our parents told us that we weren't getting any Christmas presents that year, and we're like, yeah, right. And they sat down and said, no, really, you're not getting any Christmas presents this year because something happened and the money we were supposed to get didn't come in. So Christmas Eve, we went around, driving around to different churches and things like that, because my parents were trying to find Christmas presents for us. And I remember my mom was so upset because they were handing out toothbrushes and toothpaste and things like that. And finally we ran into somebody. It was probably getting close to midnight, and they pointed us in a direction of a church, and we're trying to tell my mom, it's okay, don't worry about us, we don't need Christmas presents. And we get to the church, and they handed out a gift to each kid, and it was actually a present, and it was a little music box, and that was my favorite Christmas present I ever got too. So just because it's the meaning of Christmas isn't presents, and so having to try to tell my mom, it's okay, really, I know we're kids, but really it's not a big deal.
Probably with my kids in the last couple of years, as they get older and they really can appreciate Christmas, and things have gotten easier with my new job. I've been with Cascade Gas for 7 years almost now, but things are a lot easier when you make a little more money, and your kids really appreciate it, and that makes it a lot of fun.
One year feeling like it wasn't Christmas, and I couldn't figure out why. Why doesn't it feel like Christmas? It doesn't feel like Christmas. And it might have been in Florida, I don't know, or even here, but it just, later that year or the year after, I got sick, and I had a chest cold, and it was raining and miserable.
and I was out Christmas shopping in the rain with a chest cold, and suddenly I realized it feels like Christmas now, because I've been sick almost every Christmas with a chest cold, and it just kind of felt like shopping had to go along with being sick. And then suddenly it felt like Christmas again, and that's a stupid way to remember it, but... The one with the horse, we lived in Everett at the time, and we heard jingle bells outside, and we looked out the window, and there was an elf, a woman dressed as an elf, riding the horse up to the front, and it was for us, and we had no clue. That was really cool.
I remember when we had a big Christmas when my niece Morgan was really little, and all the presents were for her, but she was just basically ripping them apart and tossing them over her shoulder because she had like just this enormous amount of presents, and I haven't seen her much since then, so that's how I'll always remember, is just like ripping apart the presents, glancing at them, throwing them over her shoulder,
I remember one year my mom set it out that we weren't going to purchase any Christmas presents, so we were going to make everything ourselves. And so Grandma got this great idea that we were going to make quilts. So, I don't know, she had a buddy who had these quilting, there are these certain rigs that you use for quilting. So it was in her living room in Brennan, and we made a quilt for my little sister and my little brother, which they still have to this day. But we were tying these quilts, and it was really cool. Just learning, you learn the skill, yeah, that was a lot of fun. We made all kinds of stuff that year. And Betsy helped us make pillows, which I got a pillow for my little sister that I still have. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We went to Aunt Alice's house, and she gave us all, I was probably maybe 8 or 10, I don't remember how old I was, but she gave us all Christmas presents. And I go in there, and she gives me a bride doll. I didn't do dolls. I climbed trees. I made a tree house. I read books. I mean, good grief. I didn't do. And I'm going, oh, thank you. And my sister, Betsy, she got a Betsy Wetsy doll. Don't think that wasn't hard to live down. And I think either Lisa or Marquet got a doll that was as tall as they were. And the kind that walks alongside of you, but in those days we didn't have electronics, so you had to kind of move the arms to make it.
I think pictures help bring memories back, and I have a memory of Christmas when I got pajamas, and I was so excited, and I remember I always got an orange in the bottom of my stocking. Like, those are my first memories. I've got a visitor.
Hi.
There was an ornament my mom got for one of her friends, and she asked me to show it to her friend. And so I got it out of the box, and I took it out, and I put it on the tree to show it to her. Except my mom wanted it to stay in the box and stay wrapped as a present. And so I showed it to her, and then my mom freaked out on me.
When I was 6 at my mom's house, earliest memory was because I came out in like a white gown with like a raccoon hat and a baseball bat, and I was like, I'm ready to open my present Santa gave me. But not like that, but yeah, that's how it happened.
I think I was like 10, and my brother told me that I couldn't go in my room because Santa Claus was in there putting together my present. And I opened the door, and my brother was in there, and he told me that I ruined everything, and Santa had to hurry up and leave because I came in there because he had told me I wasn't allowed in there. But only I couldn't see Santa. I'm not sure I believe that story. I don't know, I remember going to like everyone's houses on Christmas time and like going to the different grandparents and everybody's and opening presents, obviously. Who doesn't like presents? Yeah.
They were having The Wizard of Oz on TV in color, right? And I was so excited. And this was like Christmas Eve, and I was going to watch this, and I'm so excited. And I kept on waiting for it to be in color, and I kept on waiting for it to be in color. And I finally turned to my mom and said, Mom, when is it going to be in color? And she's kind of, honey, we have a black and white TV. So it's a Christmas memory. What can I say?
Probably when I was about 5, and we were supposed to be sleeping, but we snuck out, and we hid behind the couch, and we heard my mom wrapping presents, and she was watching MTV, and this song, really bizarre song, came on called Fish Heads, and it was just like fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, and it would just keep going, and we were freaking out about it.
The earliest memory I have of Christmas is my mom had somebody from work. I think I was 3, and somebody from work dressed up like Santa Claus and actually came to our house with Christmas presents to drop the presents off. That's my earliest memory of Christmas. So that was a pretty cool one.
Probably when I was about 5 years old, and I remember I got a red tricycle, and my grandparents got me some toy cars and stuff like that.
Definitely growing up as a kid, you know, we didn't have a lot of money, you know, but being there as a family and how tight we were as a family is definitely my favorite thing about the holidays.
Probably, well, I don't even know if it's a real memory or one that you see a picture and then you think it's a memory. You think you remember it, but people tell you about it. But I remember when my sister got the doll that was as big as she was. And it could kind of walk if you held its hands and pulled, it would walk with you or something. But the earliest full-fledged memory I have of Christmas that I can actually point to and say 6th grade, I think. It was either the year I got a hammer and saw for Christmas, because that was what I really wanted. And I thought it was cool that my parents gave me something I actually wanted, not just what they thought everybody should, want. Or the year I got oil paints, and that was cool. And I probably didn't use very many of them, but I enjoyed them anyway. I loved getting them, even if I didn't use them as much as I should have. We got a doctor kit one year, and it had candy in it, so that was awesome. That's about all I remember.
Oh, I do remember living in, when I lived in Wyoming, and I don't even know if my mom knows this yet, but my sister and I snuck down to the tree on Christmas Eve and unwrapped the ends of presents to peek in, and then we taped them back up again. We were really delicate with them, and we're like, I think this is a Barbie, and then we'd unwrap and we'd see feet, and then we'd be like, ooh, it's a Barbie, and then we'd wrap it up again. Sneaky.
I remember hiding in our house in Rock Springs on Fillmore. It was a townhouse, and we had a really narrow staircase. I remember my parents thought I was asleep, but I wasn't. I was actually at the top of the stairs, and they were downstairs putting stuff together. I was probably 4, 5 maybe at the time, so. And yeah, I always remember being sneaky. They probably knew a little sometimes that I was up there, but it was pretty quiet.
Giving, loving.
Family. It's about getting together with family. It's about, I like gift giving. I don't like gift getting. I like gift giving. And I like all year long discovering what people like and want and their little hobbies.
With family coming to your home.
The meaning of Christmas is being with the ones you love.
Obviously not presents, same answer, but family, realizing, I'll be cliche, what you have and enjoying the time you have with the people who love you.
Family. Yeah, family. I'm just thinking about Jesus and giving and not receiving. Yes, I love giving presents. Yes.
Christmas is about the birth of Jesus and a Savior coming into this world, and that gift. And I think it's a representation, or a modern Christmas, for me, is a modern representation of sharing that gift with one another and the blessing of family and people close to you.
The meaning of Christmas is to spend time with your family and friends and really appreciate what you have instead of what you're going to get.
Well, everyone has a different opinion on that. I think the meaning of Christmas is just to be around people that you care about, just to share the season that it is, because it's the start of a whole new year. So you want to start fresh, and you want to start with people that you like.
The meaning of Christmas is to spend time with family and to give gifts.
Love. That's what I think it is.
I think that the meaning of Christmas is about family and being together.
Love, family. So, same difference really, right?
The meaning of Christmas to me is spending time with your family and your loved ones, and seeing the look on their faces when they open their presents and that you got them, and seeing how much they mean to them.
The meaning of Christmas is that it used to be a pagan holiday, and then when Christianity came to Europe, they tried to mesh Jesus' birthday with the pagan traditions, and basically it's to celebrate so you get through the winter months and you have something to be happy about. And the green tree represents eternal life, or life going on. But it's also Jesus' birthday. It's about giving and being selfless.
I think it's some multiple meanings, but I mean, aside from the obvious religious meanings, for me, it's a chance to be with my family and to see everybody, and then go hide because the lights are too bright and the noise is too strong. But then I come and sneak in and out like a mouse. But it's just to see family and to celebrate, and hopefully a time when people are a little bit nicer to each other. Because I wish that were all year, but at least around Christmas, people tend to be a little bit nicer. So, spending time with your family.
Just getting together with family and, stuff like this where we get to just have fun and good food, and everybody's just, thoughtful and caring towards another. And yeah.
Well, I think it's really important for us to have the holidays when our days are dark, and, it's a good reason for us to do something out of the ordinary and spend time with our families and just really enjoy our lives. And I think that we really should think about that every day, and kind of every day should be like Christmas, that we appreciate our families, and but it's the solstice holiday originally, but we all get different things out of it, and I enjoy just being able to spend time with my family.
I was born a snowy day in Butte, Montana, on January 17th, 1951 to be exact. That makes me almost 63. To Barbara, maybe Ellis at the time, and Dean Franklin Ellis. And I was the first one, so I got all 11 and all the presents. And later on in life, my name changed because Alan Joe, she says now that Joe stands for Josephine Little Joe from Little Women, that Joe. She says now. But I always thought it was from Josephine, some relative or something. Anyways, and Harriet from another relative. So my name was Alan, nickname Lynn, Josephine, Harriet, Ellis. Then we had another dad, Carter. Then I got married, Ayers. Then I got married, Hanks. And then I got married, Hamblin. So Alan, Lynn, Joe, Harriet, Ellis, Carter, Ayers, Hanks, Hamblin.
My name is Tina. I'm 41, and Charles is my son, and I am Alan's daughter, and I am Barbara's granddaughter.
Brendan George.
My name is Brooke. I'm related not by blood, but by unity through your mom, through Derek, and now I'm your friend.
My name's Nathan Taylor. I'm your boyfriend.
I'm Jordan. I'm Stephanie. I'm Jordan's mom. I'm the daughter of Valerie, daughter of Barbara. And I'm the daughter of Stephanie. So.
I'm Steve Eiblings. I'm married to Stephanie Eiblings, and Stephanie's grandma is Grandma Barbara. So she's my grandma too. Since all my grandparents are gone, I feel very blessed to be part of the family.
I'm Christy Eiblings, and what was the other question?
Who are you related to?
And I am related to Stephanie Eiblings. I'm her stepdaughter.
My name is Abby. My dad is Steve, and my sister's Hannah. My stepmom is Stephanie, and my stepbrothers are Cody and Isaiah, and my stepsister is Jordan.
I am Zoe Lumsden, and I'm related to Straw Lumsden and Jennifer Nellis. Those are my parents. And Valerie Waldian.
My name is Babette Joy Ellis Cook. I am Barbara's daughter. I am Alan's sister, who is his mom's mother, Tina, who is my niece. So he'd be my grandnephew. Great nephew. So I'm a great aunt. I've told everybody I'm a great aunt.
My name is Michelle Alfera, and Barbara Carter is my grandmother, and you guys are like my cousins, and your mom is my first cousin. So I guess that means you guys are my second cousin?
I am Amy Marie Cogdill. That's my married name, but Cook is my maiden name. And Babette Joy Cook Ellis is my mother, who is Barbara Carter's daughter, who is also sisters with Alan, which is mother to Tina, which is mother to Chucky over here, or Charles now. And yeah, so you would be my second cousin. And I babysat him when he was a baby. Very cute. And Derek and Marissa. And Marissa always sounded like Minnie Mouse when she was little.
I am Paul Cogdill, and I am married to Amy Cogdill, your previous interviewee, which I believe your mother is her cousin. So that probably makes us like second or third cousins or something like that.
You are my, I was a second cousin. You're my cousin's son. I think that's a second cousin. And then I'm Babette's son. So being Babette's son, I'm Val's nephew, Lisa's nephew, Alan's nephew, Marquet's nephew, and on and on and on.
Hi, I'm Lisa, the crazy the crazy aunt, and I'm your mother's aunt, and I'm fifth of 6 kids, and your grandmother is my mom's oldest daughter. Okay, who I am? I'm Marquet Kern. I'm Barbara's daughter, Barbara's youngest daughter. And how are we related? I'm your aunt? No, great aunt, right. Because you're Tina's son and I'm Tina's aunt. Yeah, it's hard when you get old. There's all these people. I don't know who's who.
Okay, my name is Haven, and I think he's my second cousin, my cousin Tina's son. So, and I remember you being like a little baby. So I remember Derek being a little baby and eating butter. That's what I remember about. Like he would just straight up eat butter. Yeah, but yeah, I think I went to see you in the hospital when you were born. So yeah, I think so. Time flies.
I am Marquetta Schreck. I'm daughter of Marquet, granddaughter of Barbara Carter. I am Chucky's second cousin. I'm your mother's cousin. I don't know if Chucky's even an appropriate name anymore, but I went with it. I was in the hospital the day you were born, by the way. And yeah, so I'm in the cousins category.